Hello everyone, Goresh here with another tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a new ability and add it to a unit. So I already covered the basics of the interface here. In this case we're going to open up the Age of Wonders unit properties package, which is, I'll show you where that is, in the title packs thing. That is one of the base packs, and that's basically where all of the where all of the abilities are stored. All of the casting abilities, all the inherent abilities, meditate, shoot blunderbuss, range attacks. Basically every ability unit has is stored in that package right there. So we're going to open that package up right here, jump over to it, and then we're going to make a new ability. So every ability has a few basic components to it. We're going to be taking Fire Blunderbuss here and making a new ability. So let me walk you through what each of the components are. The first thing is the actual ability itself. It's Age of Wonders unit property ability. This has all the basics of the actual thing itself, like it says, can it be built in the item forge, stuff like that. Does backstab apply to it? All sorts of various, toggleable traits right there. Cooldown, display in Tome of Wonders, and then the events it links to, visualization, stuff like that. Let me just modify it real quick so I can show you. The icons, the descriptions, all this stuff right here. That's basically what the ability itself is. That's basically kind of the controller for the icon itself and what it actually points to. So that's Fire Blunderbuss. Now every ability that's active has a targeter effect on it. A targeter basically is the template for how it is aimed, how it is fired. Stuff like, for instance, how far away does it fire? Does it include first hex? It also includes the AoE of it in there. Friendly fire type, all sorts of stuff like that. You can change the area, stuff like that. That's all in the targeter right there. In general, when you're doing targeters, I find it's easier just to take a targeter that already exists and copy that, because some of this stuff's pretty easy to mess up, and believe me, I messed this up quite a bit in toying with this stuff. So you're going to want to generally just copy a targeter you already like. So if you want an AoE splash attack, go and pick, say, Firebomb from the Draconians, which would be under active abilities range right there. If you want Fire Blunderbuss, go ahead and grab that. If you want a Breath Weapon, take Fire Breath. Touch attacks will be under active abilities touch. So in general, when you're making new abilities, it's almost always easier just to copy stuff like that. So here's what we got right there. That's the targeter. There's some other targeter effects here. The obstacle targeter. This is basically stuff like obstacle damage effect right there, which affects how much damage it does behind obstacles, I believe. Yeah, so right, this affects whether it affects walls. Sorry, so there's the base target right there, which affects if it affects units, and then the obstacle target right there, which affects if it affects walls and stuff like that. I think. I probably should have done more research before I made this thing, so we're just gonna go ahead and run with it and see what happens. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna make a alternate version of the Fire Blunderbuss. That will essentially, instead of doing fire damage here, it'll do frost damage. We'll call it a shard cannon. It'll be a blunderbuss for frostlings. So let's get this started here. So copy that down. Need the targeter, obstacle targeter, effect, obstacle damage effect, and we'll share the icon because I don't feel like making a new icon right now. So shard cannon, shard cannon targeter, obstacle targeter, shard cannon effect, and fire shard cannon obstacle damage effect. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down here and change all the linkages right there and all the effects, because this is right now is pointing at Fire Blunderbuss targeter and Fire Blunderbuss obstacle targeter. We don't want that. So we're going to go into Breath Weapons, and we're going to pick Fire Shard Cannon Targeter, Fire Shard Cannon Obstacle Targeter. Now, one thing you want to know real quick before I get too far in here, the reason why it has two separate targeters, even though it's one splash effect, is because you don't want to have two end effects on the same targeter, because without getting too complicated here, if you have two effects, say cannon effect right here and obstacle damage effect on the same targeter, then you can't actually use the ability because it'll only apply to units that are also walls, which is impossible. So it literally never lets you fire the ability. If you try to link, say, an effect like Dazzled or Stunned to a target that does damage, then you won't be able to do damage to units that are already stunned because it won't be a relevant target. So always when you're making an ability, if you have more than one effect, you need more than one targeter. This is a very important rule. You'll save yourself a lot of headache if you remember that. So that's one right there. We got the pointers correct right there. We're going to leave the blunderbuss icon, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to actually change the primary effect right there to fire shard cannon effect. So that's the new primary effect right there. I think that's really all we need to do here. Yeah, we're going to keep the same visualization because we don't have a frost shotgun visualization right now. And again, I haven't set up screen descriptions yet or anything like that, so I can't change the name right now. So we're just going to leave all that the same. So, alright, so that's done right there. Targeters. Okay, so we change the effect to fire shard cannon effect again. Under breath weapons. Okay, so that's the new effect right there. Other than that, pretty much everything here should be fine. So, yep, friendly fire, everything. We're going to leave that basically the same. Same targeting, thing like that. Pretty similar. Okay. And then we're going to change the fire blunderbuss obstacle effect to the fire shard cannon obstacle effect. Bam. Alright, so now we just have to change the effects themselves since all these are correctly in there. So first thing right here, we're going to change the damage from 8 fire, 8 physical to 8 frost, 8 physical. And then we're going to run the obstacle damage effect right there. You go to 0, and you know, we'll go ahead and we'll change that to frost. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to target a wall with frost damage, but again, we can tinker that later. But that's basically going to mean that you can target a wall with that, or you can target a person with that, either way. Okay, so we got a new ability right there. Now we're going to jump over to the Frostlings pack. Important thing to note here is that the Imperador pack over here, this only has the units for the base 6 races. If you want to go over to a unit for a class for a different DLC, you have to go back to Open Resource Pack right there, go to DLC 3, I think it is, packs, and then go down to Unit Frostlings right there and open that up. Again, I've already got it open, so I'll pop over there. And in here we have Frostling figures and units. They're all the same thing right there. All the class link data is in the same package right there. So this actually is a package for all 7 classes for this race. So we're going to scroll down to our Frostling Iron Legion right here. Same unit we made before, just for a different race. Scroll down. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to actually remove Fire Blunderbuss from him. And add the Shard Cannon. Actually, whenever you change a package, you have to reload all the packages in order to change that. So we're just going to reload the thing real quick. So let me close this out and then reload it, and then I'll be able to take care of that for you. There may be a fast way to do that, but generally speaking, when you're changing things in a separate package, it will be inherited down the line, but you need to make sure that you reload the packages. That's not always the case, though. If you change like a DLC 3 ability, such as, for instance, it's like Total Awareness, which was added in the Necromancer expansion, I believe it was, then that might not be changed down the line in the base expansion. Actually, that will because it's unit properties, but certain things will not be changed, like spells especially will not be changed. You'll have to actually change and copy things down to the base unit properties thing. So if you want to do like Wild Magic, for instance, some of those abilities right there will actually be copied into the unit properties things. It'll be inherited properly. There's kind of a hierarchy there. I think Tom Wolf himself has said that he doesn't even understand the full hierarchy, so don't worry about it too much. Just, if it's not showing up, you need to copy into something that's more core to the game itself. So copy from, say, Wild Magic into unit properties. I'm not going to get into that right now, but let's get back to the base thing right here. So go back into our Frostling Iron Legion right there. Scroll down. And we're going to give him the Fire Shard Cannon ability. There we go. And now he has it. So now we've made ourselves a new ability. We can go ahead and test that out in game if we'd like. Or not, but basically it's just going to be the same thing as a Fire Blunderbuss, just with a different damage type. So that's it for you. That's how you make a new ability. Now, if you want to do anything more drastic, I strongly suggest going through and looking at some of the different ability types right here, because some of them are more complicated than others, for instance. And some of the things, like for instance, Throw Curse, have different things. We have like the resist effect, which actually does a resistance check, and then it links to the effect for that. And then for a failure effect, it actually links to the hindered status effect, whereas unsuccessful links to the Throw Curse effect. So resistance checks under the magical tactical unit effect right there are for stuff like casting. Damage effects, just use something else right there. But basically, I'm going to sum up here. If you want to do an effect and it's similar to something that already exists, go find that ability and copy it, because it's just so much easier to look at the current template and copy it that way than it is to make something new. If you want to build it from scratch, though, there are a lot of unit properties here. And I'm not going to go down all of them today because, frankly, I only understand about like 1/20th of all these things. But all the stuff right here you're looking for will generally be under unit properties right there, which refers to inherent effects, and the magic tactical unit effects right there, which is damage, healing, stuff like that. So, alright, that's it. So hopefully this will be helpful for you guys. I'll have more videos soon. If you have any questions, again, just message me on Steam. My name is Jimmy Zgaresh. Feel free to add me anytime, and I'll be glad to help you out with whatever way I can. If not, message me on the forums or whatever, and I'll help you out any way I can. Alright, good luck modding.